What's up, people? Welcome back to my channel. Today, guys, I'm going to be answering all the questions that you guys have sent me regarding my daughter's school stroke creche stroke daycare. A lot of you guys sent me so much questions from when I put up the video on our first day of school. You guys have asked me questions ranging from why did I enroll my daughter into school so early to why did I let her go to school in a pandemic, questions ranging from that to how did I even select the school that I decided to put my daughter in? So all those questions and more I will be answering in this video. If you're very interested, just keep watching. So if you're new here, welcome. I have a daughter who just turned 1 about 2 months ago. She's about 14 months old and she started creche. In Nigeria we call it creche or daycare school already. I put up a video, if you haven't seen it, on our first day of school, and that video got me a lot of questions on my Instagram and on my YouTube channel. So that is the reason why I am making this video. So I have grouped the questions into 2 parts because all the questions I found that I could group them into 2 parts, and the main questions, and they just have little babies under them, you know, like when you were in secondary school and you have theory questions and you have number 1A, number 1B, number 1C, exactly. So the main question is, why did I enroll my daughter in a creche or daycare at a very early age and in a pandemic? So I would take that question one by one to answer it. So first off, let me address the point of the pandemic, and I'm going to come from a place of government. We live in Nigeria, and the Nigerian government said it was okay for students or children to resume school sometime in the end of January. There was a whole fuss and a whole brouhaha from parents and guardians that why would these children that don't even really know how to take care of themselves, why would they be allowed to be sent back to school? Schools have to go through COVID-19 protocols. Schools have to, you know, have all these things in place just to make their children safe. And I know a lot of parents then were even saying no way, they are not taking their children back to school because they felt they were not safe. Now, the reason why I decided to take my daughter to school was because, first off, listen, we are in Nigeria. We know how things go. We know how things work. The government is not about to change their minds anytime soon. The government isn't really doing so much with combating the pandemic. We are basically taking care of ourselves. So if we say we want to wait till the time that the Nigerian government will be able to figure things out, we're going to be waiting on a long thing. We decided to take personal practical steps in, you know, keeping ourselves safe, you know, wearing our nose mask, washing our hands, social distancing, using our vitamins and all, you know, all what we have there. And then I also had to do my due diligence, which I will talk about in the course of this video, to make sure that the school I was going to enroll her in were following COVID-19 protocols and guidelines and all that great stuff. So that was why I enrolled her in a pandemic, like some people would say it. So people that have been asking me, you just threw your daughter out there to the wolves. No, I did not do that. I'm a mother and I love my daughter so dearly, so I would not just throw her out there to the wolves. Okay, to the question of why I made my daughter start school early, and the funniest thing is that I got this question from a lot of people that do not live in Nigeria, and I kind of understand why, because I think there's a whole age thing. When you live abroad, you can't start school or creche until you get to like daycare, like they call it there, until you get to like a certain age. I like to believe that's how it is, and that's why people were asking me these questions. But then I would now break the answers down from everybody's point of view. So starting from my daughter's point of view, starting from Tishe's point of view. So my daughter Tishe was born 2-3 days before 2020. So at the last lap of 2019 was when my daughter was born. So pretty much I see her as being born in 2020. So she's part of all these children that were born in 2020 into a pandemic. So most of these children, they haven't gone out, they've been home, because the whole of 2020, almost the whole world was like, there was quarantine and everybody had to stay at home. So these children, unlike other children that were born in other years, have not had the opportunity to mix. They've not been to like birthday parties. They haven't interacted with friends. They only know their parents. In fact, some of them don't even know their grandparents because they haven't seen them in a long time. You know, they run from them when they see them. They're used to us wearing masks. Like I'm just so sad in this dispensation or in this period where these kids were born, because it just seems like there's a lot that is restricting them. So because of this, when the ban was lifted and now kids can start school and all that, I felt like it would be so good for Tisha, from her point of view, to interact with other children. That was the reason why I enrolled her in creche. So for her to get to meet other people, because she was getting to a point where she only knew me, her mom, her dad, and our auntie Bosse that stays with us. So she didn't know any other person. Yeah, she knew my mom, my dad, my aunt, because my sister rather, because we would take her there from time to time when I got back to work. But then again, this pandemic, there's been a second wave, and it's not been easy on our family in general. So we decided that listen, she has to see other people outside, so she has to start making friends in class, or at least interacting with people in class. She has to know her teacher, and it's going to help her in the long run to build her social skills. I'm not saying that children that did not start early would not build social skills. No, I'm just speaking for my own daughter. I want her to start building her social skills, interacting with people, getting to know people. I know it also helps and aids in children talking faster, and I really hope that it's going to help her. So seeing it from Tisha's point of view, it just made sense for her to start, so she can be very interactive and learn other things. I think what gave me this epiphany that opened my eyes was, I think we had a birthday party for twins that turned one, I think sometime in November, either October or November, and we went to this party, and Tisha couldn't interact with anybody. Like, she was just holding me the entire time. There were children dancing, children playing, children doing all sorts. Even the food they shared, she did not touch any of it. So I was just like, whoa. And that was when it dawned on me that this child has not had any interactions with the outside world whatsoever. So I felt like this was the best thing to do for her, and it's been working. It's been a month since she started school, and I can see changes already, you guys. So from the parents' point of view, that's me, my husband, and even the grandparents' point of view, everybody is back to working now. Everybody's back to work. The lockdown has been lifted, although my husband doesn't go to work every day, but we cannot say that, oh well, since he doesn't go to work every day, she stays at home today, she doesn't stay at home today. No, everybody is back to work. So we just felt like it would make our lives easier if she goes to school and learn things, and we can also get to do the things that we have to do, running around and all those things, even on days that we don't go to work. Even on days that we don't go to work, we just get to rest. Like, she's in school for about 4-5 hours. Those 4-5 hours are so amazing for us to rest, for us to do the things we have to do. If I need to shoot a video, I don't have her disturbing me. I can make my video, I can do the things I have to do for those couple of hours that she is out of the house for. So from a parent standpoint also, that was why we decided that, what, let this girl just go to school. Okay, another angle I'm going to answer this question from is from the help angle, because I have gotten a lot of questions that I have someone that helps me out, Bosse, so why isn't my daughter staying at home with her for her to be able to take care of her? So let me just say this. You know how these people are sometimes, like, you can't really fully, I don't want to use the word trust, because it's not a trust thing in this instance. It's just that they also have their own lives. There are days that she has come to me and she tells me that, oh, her mom wants her to come home, and she has to go home quickly, urgently for something, and all that stuff. In fact, the last time she told me that she wanted to go home, I had to tell her that, listen, there's a second wave, you can't go home, because I don't have 50,000 naira to be paying for COVID-19 tests every time you go and come back. It's for our own safety and your own safety. So we then had an understanding of when she would go. Hopefully the second wave would have gone down by then. But then again, these people, anything can arise. We love her, she loves us so much, but then again, they also have their own lives. So I don't want a situation whereby one day will just come, she wakes up and she's like, listen, I'm going today, and then my daughter is stuck, we don't have anything to do with her, and we're trying to figure things out. So that is another angle, because a lot of people had asked me that, Ben, you have somebody helping you, why are you doing this? That is the reason. I don't want to be caught unawares. I don't want somebody to just wake up one morning and say they're leaving, and then I'm like running etaskater, like, what do I do? So that makes sense for all of us. So still speaking of help, another question that I got was, what does she then now do? So my daughter goes to school, I go to work, my husband goes to work. What does she then do at home? She has a bunch of chores to do. There are a bunch of things to do right now. My daughter is already in school, my husband has gone to work. I am actually on my way to work. I decided to film this real quick before going to work. She's doing her chores. She knows the things that she has to do. She knows that she has to meal prep before I get back from work. She has to sweep, clean. You know, there's so many things, little things that she has to do in the house. So that is what she's doing. So she's not just lounging or chilling, you know. I mean, chill is also good. She gets to chill when she's done with everything she's doing, you know. But I mean, that just answers that question. So the second part to the questions that you guys have been asking me are, what are the things that I looked out for when I was trying to select a creche for my daughter? And I have a whole list. I wrote them down and I will just be sharing with you guys. The first thing is that I wanted a creche that was close to home. I did not want somewhere that was too far. I had contemplated somewhere close to my office, so that when, or our dad's office, so that when I go to work or when he goes to work, he can just drop her off and then pick her when he's coming back. But then I just felt like it would be a burden on each of us. So on days that I don't go to work, what then happens? She's at home with me, or do I have to go all the way to my office to drop her? And then no. We had to pick somewhere that was very close to home, that my parents can also get to pick her because they don't live too far away from our house. So they can also get to pick her. Anybody, well, in our family can get to pick her. And I did not just want anything that was going to just stress my baby girl out. I wanted a 5 minutes journey max, to and fro. I didn't want anything that was going to stress her out or waking her up extra early in the morning. And that was why I picked a creche that was close to home. Luckily for me, the area where I live in, there's so many of these schools. So trust me, I had to do my due diligence, and I went to several ones before I picked the one that I wanted. The second thing I looked out for when I went to these different schools were if they were following COVID-19 protocols. And I have a fun story on that. The first 3 schools I went to, whenever I entered the school, and then, you know, I just go straight to wash my hand. There's now a basin outside. Some schools did not have a basin, like a wash hand basin. They had like a whole bucket system. I was just like, nope, this is not gonna work. Some had the whole tap system, but then when you proceed to open the water, it wasn't coming out. And there was one I remember in particular that when I opened the water, it wasn't coming out. And then the lady that brought me in, she was like, oh, it was working this morning, no, I don't know why it's not working again. Madam, don't worry, just come inside. I was just like, just come inside, just like that. So is that what you do to other people that come in, to just come inside just like that, you know? So that was like a deal breaker for me. So I had to look at schools that were following COVID-19 protocols. Her school where she is, as soon as I got in, went to the tap, there was soap there, I washed my hands, there were sanitizers all around, like in the school. I went upstairs to where the creche was. It was very clean. You know, they use sanitizer and Dettol and all that great stuff to like mop the floor and clean the floor, and it was very sanitary and clean. I had to look at if the school was also very clean, especially in creche where, you know, these babies or children are always on the floor. What kind of flooring did they have? Is it somewhere where there was a school I went to and it was like tiles, and I was like, if children fall down and hit their head, what then happens, you know? So where she is, they have like this carpet, but it has like cushion under, so even if they fall, it's like falling on the bed. It was really nice, and that was why that's one of the reasons why I chose it. Another thing I looked at was security. So when I'm coming in, is it a school where I can just open the door and just come in, or open the gate and just come in, or a school where I have to stand outside for hours before they can let me in? I did not like that, because I want to be able to bombard and charge into the school whenever I feel like, without anybody stopping me. Not that I'll be outside for hours and you already see me and you're already trying to put things together. So those were the other things I also looked at in terms of like their security. Who is at the gate? Who opens the gate? What questions do the security people ask? Who are you here to see? I also had to look at all that work. Another thing I had to look out for was that there were not a lot of students in the creche, in, you know, a lot of children in the class, like in Tisha's class. I had to look out for that. I didn't want a situation whereby there were like 10 children and there's like 1 or 2 teachers, and then my child does not have one-on-one relations with the teacher, because sometimes they still need this one-on-one relations. I didn't want anything like that. So when I checked, I asked the school where she is now, and I was like, how many students do you have in creche? And she was like, two to three. And it was like perfect for me, because at the same time, you don't want your child to be catching something from another child. So the fewer they are, the better, for all of us. So another thing I had to look out for when I was trying to select her school was to see how the teachers interact with the children. So how they play with them, how they discuss with them. Are they mean? Would they be beating my child? Those were the things I was looking at. There was a particular school I went to, and the teachers were very, would I say, clingy with the students. Like, there were like 3 children in the creche class, and there were 2 teachers, and they were like all hugging them and everything. I was like, I don't want my child to be spoiled like this. Like, can you can you like release them? Do you understand? So there's that aspect, and there's also the aspect of do they beat them? Are they mean to them and all that stuff? And so far, before I even up now that I selected the school, like, it's one of the best decisions I made, because Tisha loves a teacher. My baby loves her. She doesn't allow any other teacher in the school carry her. When her dad takes her to school, her dad has to take her to her class. She would only, go to a teacher and allow a teacher carry her. She's not going to allow any other teacher in the school carry her. So that's a good relationship that they have, and that was something that I looked out for. I also had to check if there were people that were qualified to give first aid in case of emergency. Do they even have first aid kits? Do they have things that you could help your child in case of an emergency? Do they have can they easily contact me? Those are the things I also looked out for. There are schools that, yes, they have first aid kits, but who administers it? Nobody knows how to use it. Do they have fire extinguishers? Like, anything can happen. So I had to look out for all those things also. And like I said earlier, I had to make sure that it was a school that I can easily pop in unannounced. And there are several times I have done that in Tisha's school. Pop in unannounced. And I feel like I advise parents to do this so that you can just see what is going on in your child's life. You don't just leave everything to the books that they send home. They send books, their communication books that they send home, and they tell you like the things that happened to the child during the day, when he ate, when he fed, when he pooped, when he slept. So you don't just leave that to that alone. You can easily walk up into the school and be like, what's going on with my child? That's what I want to know. And then when I went to all the schools, the school that I eventually chose for my daughter, they were very personal with me. From the first day, they were already like, Tish mama, Tish mama, Tish mama. They were already like, oh, this pacifier has got to go. That I shouldn't worry. There are children that have come in here with pacifiers, and just a couple of months, they're not using it anymore. They were already relating with me, rapporting with me like I was their sister. And all that. I understand that is, they're selling their market, but it just worked for me. They were very personal with me, and I like that. Like, the head teacher, she'd be giving me examples of even her own children. She'd be like, oh, when my daughter was this, when my daughter. So that this person is a mother. This person, she has that sympathy. She understands what I'm going through. Sometimes when I go pick Tisha up now, I ask her questions, and she's like, oh, it's separation anxiety. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. So people that you can easily relate with, not people that when you go, you're just strong in face. All of you are strong in face with yourself. Just pick your daughter and go. Nah. That's not even going to work for me at all. So I had to pick a place that had personal relationship, or try to have some type of relationship with me. And the last but not the least thing I also looked out for was, what are their regular activities like? Yes, I know it is creche. I know they're just supposed to eat, sleep, wake up, poop, but schools should also, a creche or a daycare should also try to incorporate some things like nursery rhymes, playtime. And I love where she is right now. She hasn't started ballet yet, but they take her downstairs with the other creche children to watch the older kids learn ballet, watch them do the whole ballet thing. And me, I think it's scam, because I feel like in the next couple of months they're going to be like, oh, Tisha is ready to do ballet, she's interested. Well, she would be interested because almost every week you take her to watch ballet. But I just like things like that. I like that she gets to sing nursery rhymes, they get to teach her stuff, she stomps her feet now, things like that, little things. And I think another thing was that they said they would help you potty train your child, so many things like that. So I was like, yeah, daily activities are loaded for this child, and I was just very grateful for that, and that was why I picked that. So if you're looking for schools to choose for your child, daycare, creche, Jelly Osimi, all that, small schools like that, I think these are great tips for you to absolutely take into consideration when you are trying to do that. So that is everything I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a thing or two. Leave a thumbs up, like this video if you really like this, because I'm sure you do. Share this video with everybody that you know, and I will definitely see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.